Hey, this is Jason from Geiserwoodturner, and I've been talking to a lot of new woodturners and people that want to learn woodturning, and I'm excited about bringing to you this series that we're going to do today. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a foot massager, but we're going to go through and make a separate video for each step that we do in this project. For this step, we want to set up a piece of maple in between centers, and we're going to show how I mark the center and put it between centers on the lathe.
In order to maximize the diameter of your wood blank, as well as eliminate dangerous vibrations, it's always a good idea to mark the center before you mount it between centers on the lathe. I'm using a center finding tool. You can pick these up from woodworking suppliers or on Amazon for like $6 to $10. And I'll mark all four sides, and the middle of those four lines will be your center point. There are lots of alternative ways to mark the center on a piece of wood. One of those ways is to take a straight edge or a ruler and mark from corner to corner, and then do it the other way. And where those lines intersect will give you an exact center point. And a lot of people like to take an awl or a center punch and make an impression right where that center point is, so it's easier to find when you put it on the lathe. On my lathe, I prefer to use a drive center that has a spring-loaded center point and a lot of teeth to give me a lot of surface area to mount the piece of wood. So I'll bring the piece of wood up to that drive center, put it on the center point, and then I can bring the tailstock up in my revolving center or live center and lock it into place and advance the quill forward until everything is tight and those teeth grab. If you have the 4-prong type drive centers that come with your lathe, usually you may have to drive that center into the piece of wood with a mallet or a piece of wood or rubber mallet so that those teeth get enough to bite on before you mount it into the lathe. Now with the wood blank locked in place, I'll bring up the tool rest and give it a spin and make sure everything is locked down and ready to go and in place. I spin that because I don't want the piece of wood to hit the tool rest, so when I turn on the lathe I won't have any disasters happen. Before you turn on the lathe, check your speed, start it low and bring up the RPM and stand out of the way. And now that we've got our piece mounted between centers, we're ready to continue with our project.
And that's how we set up a wood blank between centers so we can make our foot massager. In the next video, we're going to use a spindle roughing gouge to make that piece round, and we're going to make some messes and have a lot of fun with it.